Welcome back everyone. In this video we're going to learn Maqam Nahawand, one of the most popular maqams. One thing about Maqam Nahawand is that it's a very epic maqam. It sounds really nice and it can be used for many verses of the Qur'an, especially verses that are about, like they're telling stories, for example, of David and Goliath or Prophet Sulaiman and so on and so forth. Maqam Nahawand sounds like this. It's similar to the minor scale in Western music, but it's different. It's not exactly the same as the minor scale. Maqam Nahawand has a Jins Nahawand on the first note and Jins Hijaz on the fifth note. This is for the ascending scale. For the descending scale, instead of the Hijaz on the fifth note, we have Kurd on the fifth note. So the whole scale of Maqam Nahawand would sound like this. This is the Hijaz. Now the Kurd on the way down. Now let's recite some verses in this beautiful maqam. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ سَبَقَتْ لَهُم مِّنَّ الْحُسْنَى أُولَئِكَ عَنْهَا مُبْعَدُونَ. This is the first melody of Maqam Nahawand. We're focusing on the first note, or we can say we're holding the first note, but we don't hold it indefinitely. We just focus on it. We hover on this note, so to speak, but we go up and down, but then we rest on the first note again. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ سَبَقَتْ لَهُم مِّنَّ الْحُسْنَى أُولَئِكَ عَنْهَا مُبْعَدُونَ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ حَسِيسَهَا وهم فيما اشتهت أنفسهم خالدون. Okay, for the second melody of Maqam Nahawand, we need to focus on the fifth note. Or if you remember, we said that the focusing note of a maqam, except the first note, usually the fifth or fourth note of a maqam, is known as the ghammaz. Ghammaz is the central note of a maqam where you have to hold for some time before you go up and down and finally finish the melody of a maqam. So we're going to do the second melody now. Pay attention how I focus on the fifth note. لا يحزنهم الفزع الأكبر وتتلقاهم الملائكة هذا يومكم This is the note that we were focusing on for the second melody. This is how we do the second melody. Okay, we're going to do the second melody again for the continuation of this verse. هذا يومكم الذي كنتم توعدون. Now, one thing with Nahawand is that when you're finishing the melody, or when you're doing the qafla, the cadence, we go up and down right below the qarar before we finish with the qarar itself. See, this is the note below the qarar. It's called the leading tone, or the hassas in Arabic. And this really makes the maqam a lot more beautiful. You don't have to use this. You can just say tu'adun. But when you do the hassas, it's like you confirm the melody, you finish the melody, and you say that this is definitely Nahawand and no other maqam. Tu'adun. Okay, now the third melody. The third melody of Maqam Nahawand is where we focus on the eighth note of this maqam. Of course, it's not necessary to go straight to the eighth note. You can do that if you want. But usually, they combine the second melody with the third melody. They begin with the ghammaz, the fifth note, and then they go to the jawab, the octave of Maqam Nahawand. So let's recite the next verse with the third melody. يوم نطوي السماء كطي السجل للكتب. So I use the hijaz on the way up. This is hijaz, jins hijaz on the fifth note of Nahawand. And then for descending, we use kurd. Now that we've done the third melody, we can actually go back to the first melody. That's what a lot of reciters do. كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيده وعدا علينا. A lot of reciters, they use this qafla, which is stopping on the second note of Maqam Nahawand. وعدا علينا إنا كنا فاعلين. Now it's possible to combine all three melodies, where we start with the first one, then we move on to the second one, and finally we end it with the third melody, where we have the jawab, and then we descend to the qarar, back to the qarar. وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِن بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. I began with the first melody, then I went to the second melody, and I jumped to the third melody at the end on يَرِثُهَا. يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. Okay, now let's do some faster recitation of the next verses, which is known as murattal. What we recited up to now was mujawad, and now murattal. إن هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون فإن تولوا فقل آذنتكم على سواء وإن أدري أقريب أم بعيد ما توعدون. Okay, that does it for this video. We just learned Maqam Nahawand. Now, Maqam Nahawand, this was the original Maqam Nahawand. It has other family members, also known as branches. In Arabic, we say furu' or far'iyat of Maqam Nahawand. For example, we have Nahawand Murassa', and there's this very popular branch of Maqam Nahawand that's known as Ushaq al-Misri, and it's Nahawand plus Bayati. We will learn this Maqam in the upcoming videos, inshallah. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.